Welcome back, everyone. It's October 17th right now, and it's Friday. This week was a good week. Um, it was definitely a good week. I want to start off by saying that you guys, if you didn't already read the thumbnail, this week I passed both my funded accounts and I made a $700 profit live on my live account. Um, so I'll show you guys. Uh, I sent it in my Discord, my free Discord community. So I'll just show you my Discord chat where I sent out screenshots of what took place in my trading account, my live trading account. I'll share with you guys my TradeZella P&L statement for percentage, like risk to reward on that live account. And those exact trades that I took on the live account, I took the exact same trades on the funded account. And I passed both funded accounts on the same exact day. I'm gonna show you guys proof of. So here's the funded pips one. So this is gonna be the funded pips one. If you guys wanna scan the QR code just to see if it's legit, go ahead and do that. In the meantime, while you do that, you can see it's October 17th, and that's when I got verified. So they sent me the agreement early this morning. I think at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I signed the agreement and now it's like in the boarding phase. So it's a $10,000 account that I will be able to actually make money on. Um so yeah. So that's the funding pips. And the other prop firm is gonna be, I had it here, but I don't know, I guess it disappeared. One second. Here it is. All right, I'm gonna share. I don't know why it's like, oh, open with preview. X. You are sharing. All right, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Like, I don't know why it's moving like it's broken. All right. All right, past FTMO challenge. In the meantime, you can go ahead and scan that just to see if this one's also legit. October 17th, you can see it's the same exact date. So I passed both funded accounts in the same exact day. Isn't that wild? Um, Unfortunately though, funding pips challenge turned out better than the FTMO challenge, even though the FTMO challenge has more funding. So my funding pips one has a 10K and then this one has 100K. But there was only one phase for funding pips. That's why I got the agreement already. I didn't get the agreement on the FTMO because I have to go through a second phase before I get the agreement. So with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then we'll start talking more about how I was able to do this and how you should be able to do the same thing. Um, if you guys have not liked this video, like, comment, subscribe, and join my free Discord. I share education about how I trade. I um I also share every trade that I take um with no cost at all. I just share everything for free. And I just feel like, even if I told everybody exactly how I traded, um, I looked at the statistics and it was like maybe 5% might grasp what you're saying, but only about 1% is actually going to profit from it. And there's a possibility that long term they're actually not even going to be profitable. Because a lot of people just are stuck in their ways. They want to get rich quick and all of this extra stuff. So honestly, with that being said, like, it's different if 100% of people could, like, then it'll be different. It'll be a different story. But, I'm just giving this information out for free. Most people nowadays are like struggling financially and stuff like that. So this could also be a secondary income for virtually any occupation or industry or career path you took or plan on taking, because some people might be in school watching this video. So more or less, how do I stop sharing? Okay, stop sharing. Next is I'm gonna break down psychology, strategy, journaling, and my lessons. So Let's start with the funded account journey. So the challenges I have faced during the funded account journey is that this isn't actually the first time that I did a funded account challenge. Like I've done maybe 20 to 30 in the past. I've done FTMO maybe like 3 or 4 times in the past. And the last time I actually did that though was a couple years back. But I didn't have the level of understanding of the market and my own like risk management and f sticking to one type of way to trade. Um, yeah, like the model and the way that I trade now is definitely not how I was trading before, especially with the level of risk management that I'm taking into account nowadays. So, I did definitely failed way more than I've passed because I have passed funded challenges in my past before, but I just never got the opportunity to get a payout. The one time that I signed an agreement was with Funding Pips. It was a $25,000 account. And literally like the same day, if not the same day, the second day that I had the account, the funded account, I ended up straight up blowing the not blowing the account, but breaching the rules or requirements that they suggested I stay in within in order to keep the account and continue taking profits along the way on that $25,000 account. But yeah, uh it was pretty smooth, honestly. I'm gonna show you guys. I think I could, without like disclosing all my personal information, I think I might be able to show you guys some details. One second. What is this? Back to application. Some should be able to show you guys some information so that you guys it can help you understand like what parts took place in this journey for me this previous week. Um, what is this? Analysis? Is that all right? I'd rather look at instead of analysis, I'm gonna share my screen for I think details might be better. Mm, okay. Okay, first what I'll do is I'll show details and then I'll show you my MT5 account. 'Cause I traded on MT5. All right, just make sure it's not showing like personal info. I think we're good. All right. So yeah, this is all right, yeah. So this is the metrics. Um, I'm not really too, worried about the consistency score. Now, minimum trading days was 4. So this was a little bump that I had in the road. So I passed the account, right? I passed the challenge, and it said that I only spent 3 days trading, but my MT5 said that I traded for like 4 days or whatever. So I had to contact support, and then they were like, "Oh, well, you need one more day." So I was like, "All right, I'll just click, buy, and then close my position as soon as I click buy or whatever on one of these, like S&P 500 or something." So I did that, and then I contacted support again. And I was just like, "Hey, I just did what you suggested." So their community or chat is very helpful. They're responsive and respectful, so I appreciate that. So shout out to FTMO's team for that. And yeah, so that's how that went. And they were just like, yeah, so you're all set. And then they started, to say that the account is in review. And then within the same day, they told me, hey, you've passed this challenge, XYZ. Now, you're off to the second phase. And I'm like, what second phase? I forgot that there was a second phase, unfortunately. All right, so I'm gonna try to find that MT5 because I don't have MT5 to share my screen on the computer. So MT, okay. All right, I'm gonna screenshot this. I literally, what is this? One, okay, one, two, three, four. I literally passed in four trades. Like, I passed a $100,000 account in four trades. I don't know if people understand like the level of certainty and conviction you need to pass a funded account, 100K funded account, in only four trades. All right, I'm gonna see if I can open this in maybe preview. I should be able to open this in preview. Share screen. Okay, so this is the funded account. Should be able to see it now. It says, so this is a $100,000 balance, FTMO, phase one. This is the one that I am showing you guys details on. And you can see I did a I don't know, quick buy. And then it was probably like in and out. And I profited $11 from it. The next buy that I got, I lost 470. I had a buy on gold, got up 1381, so that replenished my negative 470 loss and plus more. And then, this sell, this short that everybody was afraid of being in, S&P 500. Uh, Obviously, the people who are not familiar with market structure or, just people who in general have been buying S&P 500 for a while and started just pulling their money out just based on maybe news and stuff like that or what what news may have been disclosed from Powell. But yeah, honestly, I don't really pay that much attention to fundamentals. I'd rather see what you're doing than listen to what you're doing. So I hope that makes sense. I want to see what these people are doing, and I don't want to completely disregard what they're saying, but I'll acknowledge, what the fundamentals are saying. But if I had to choose which one I'd trade forever, right? I would say technical analysis because I'd rather see what you're doing to the market, whether you're manipulating the market, um, so I can profit from your manipulation. Or I mean, I also want to say that if the manipulation that you're seeing in your technical analysis matches up with what's happening on a fundamental level, then that's going to be confluence. That'll just add more fuel to why it probably makes sense to take that trade. So that is that is my FTMO account. So I'm gonna start sharing with you guys let me see. Yeah, let's talk about the FTMO account. I'm not gonna go to anything else yet. All right, so back to the FTMO page. So as you can see, these are the trades, $4, -$4, -486, up, 1,300 on, I think this was the gold trade. Not sure what this was. And then, the $9,000 trade. So it was only, yeah, more or less, didn't really take long at all. And I actually got the 10K funding pips account before I did for the FTMO. So let me explain. FTMO wanted me, based on this account, to have a minimum trade of 4 days. So at least take a trade for 4 days. Uh, Take a different trade, for 4 days. Doesn't have to be 4 days in a row, but just at least 4 days. Maximum daily loss is 5,000. That's fair. Maximum loss in total is 10,000. That's also fair. Excuse me. Profit target is 10,000. So they wanted me on this $100,000 account to make a 10% return. And I made the 10% return in less than 2 weeks. I I bought the account. I don't even know what day I bought the account, but it was less than 2 weeks ago. So, um, what was it? I think this was either the first or second day that I had it, October 9th, and October 9th is about a week ago because today's the 17th, so almost a week ago. Same week? Like I passed this account in the same week. It's insane. I've never done that before, but from the type of way that I trade now, I mean it's not a surprise. I expect I expect this stuff to be happening because I've practiced, I've back tested, I've journaled, I've worked on my mindset, and I've created mental frameworks, and I've had to implement mental blocks so that I can and challenge myself to hold trades longer and stick through the discomfort when price seems to be going against my favor while I'm in the trade, holding on to the position for dear life. But carefully watching market structure play out in my favor, regardless of the quick pullbacks that happen with manipulation happening on typically smaller time frames. So I think with that statement right there, I hope that clarifies the, mistakes that people have and things like that. But I don't know. I don't think it's that important to go into like the funded pips funded challenge because but there might be some people that are interested, so I guess we could do that. Let me pull that up. I know I had to make $1,000 on a $10,000 account. Um, all right, so here's what I'll do. I'll show you guys because if I share the page, it shows like personal info or not really personal, but like the ID numbers of my accounts. And I don't know if people could do things with that, so I'm just gonna, especially because it's like onboarding and stuff like that right now. So I'm gonna just, how do I do this? Um, air. I don't know why that happened. All right, let's try this again. See if I can share the screenshot. Hopefully I can. Hmm. Preview. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so this is my $10,000 funding pips challenge that I passed, which only had one phase, and then I got um I had to sign off on, being able to start actually making money on this $10,000 account. Um, and I got that today. So you can see oh, this is October. I think I had this since last month. Okay. I had this since September. So it actually took me longer to, this one actually took me a little while. It took me longer than, unfortunately, it took me longer to pass this one versus the $100,000 one. Isn't that strange? All right, so let's take it a month back. So a month back, this is September. You can see the 10th. This I only traded for one day out of the week on Wednesday, down $37. That's probably about point 30, what, 37% of 10,000 that I risked on this in total. But it looks like three trades were taken, so that's interesting. Moving forward, you got negative 42, so this is at one point about negative $80. then we start seeing a little bit more progress, start building the account a little bit more back up. Not fully in the green. So probably ended off this week in September red, a little bit red. And then look at the next week after. You see 92 plus 92 plus 116. Momentum started picking up. Losses started getting smaller, right? 17, 18 is still in the same ball range. Negative $8 this day. It's not bad. I'm gonna start sharing October. So this is October. This is why risk management is important because a lot of people would have, checked out when and started, panicking and just everything would have went downhill. But as you can see, October 1st, positive 95. This one almost broke break even, but lost $40 in 2 days, basically. After the $95 profit. The following day, Friday, took a profit of 345, replenished my loss. Then the next day was a Monday, up 97. Wednesday, so didn't trade Tuesday, traded on Wednesday, up $33, didn't trade Thursday, traded on Friday, unfortunately, clocked out with negative 66. And then the following week, which was this week that we're in right now, you can see on Wednesday I took that S&P 500 short. I held it and think I think I closed out the same day. Yeah, I closed out the same day on Wednesday. But I didn't get they didn't approve it until today, early this morning. So that's why those dates are both the 17th. So that's why past the 17th. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. What else can I show you guys? I'll show you guys my live account. I don't mind showing you guys my live account. Um, all right, so here I'm gonna screenshot this right now. I'm gonna send it to myself, open it up on my monitor so that you guys can see this, and I'm gonna share my screen or the photo. So that, and then I'm gonna share with you guys this too. And select these two. All right. I'll break down how I was able to take these trades. Just give me a moment so that I can just catch up with people who are interested in how these funding accounts work and also my live account. Want to make sure I'm not leaving any stone unturned, but um all right. All right, so we got I don't know why okay. This is open with preview. Okay. So this was actually what should I show first? I'll show this first. Okay. Mm, okay, so this is a screenshot of my actual live account. I use MT5. Used to use MT4, but surprisingly I switched to MT5. And it actually is better than MT4. So a lot of times it's not good to stay in your way because many times the only person that's in your way is the person between your own two ears. And you have to listen to, people who are in better positions than you most of the time. So yeah, that's what I've been doing and it's been working. Um, all right. So I deposited in total to $2,841. Profit was $1,168, which brings my account's equity to $4,000, $4,006. I closed out on all my positions that I had open this week. And then here is, you can see what it looks like right now. So $4,006. That is From the point of me depositing 2,841 and now the equity being sitting at $4,006, that's a 41% increase in equity. A lot of times you're not seeing that even in real estate within only a matter of about a month. It's only been about a month and change, or yeah, maybe about a month because yeah, I think it's only been about a month. I could double check on that. But yeah. Um month, 2 months, honestly, 41% is bananas. Like who doesn't want 41% um return on their investment within a month or two, right? That's uh that's a no-brainer. Um, but you're not really seeing that in almost like any industry besides the market if you're getting in at the right time. And by getting in at the right time, right, you need to understand accumulation, manipulation, distribution. In my opinion, some people just trade strictly fundamentals, um, and don't exactly care about that. But yeah, let me show you my TradeZella. TradeZella. Let me see if there's anything else before I do that that I'm missing going over. Um, well, okay, so let me real quick. I treat the funded and my live a bit differently, but virtually the same. So here's what I mean. If I'm risking point, if I'm risking 0.25% on my funded account, I'm gonna risk 0.75% on my live account. If I'm gonna risk 0.50% on my funded account, I'm gonna risk 1.5% on my live account. And then lastly, if I'm gonna risk one whole percentage on my funded account, then I'm gonna risk 3% on my live account. So that's pretty much it. Um, what else am I missing? I mean, you definitely want to stick with your, trade idea. You don't want to, the last thing you want to do is in and out of the markets because then you're wasting time. You're also wasting equity, and that's just not healthy. Uh, you want to cut losses quick, but ride winners for as long as it makes sense. Um, mention, yeah, so I showed you guys my live account results. I just spoke to you guys about risk management. That's something that I literally preach. It's in my trading Instagram username and R2R. Like I don't put R2R in there for no reason. You gotta have a good risk to reward. You want to go in trades or go into opportunities. In my opinion, I would look for opportunities that give me at least a 1 to 3 R2R or what is that? I don't know. Maybe that might be R3R, but risk to reward, right? So at least a 1 to 3 risk to reward. Um, yeah, it's not gonna be R3R. It's just R to R. Um, so yeah, 1 to 3 risk to reward, which definitely means, hey, if I'm willing to risk $50, I should be able to at least gain a profit of $150. That's at least what you're going for, or at least what I would go for. And that's exactly what I go for, at least. So good risk management. I'm gonna break down my live trading week so that you guys have an understanding of what I've seen in the market and like why I entered and stuff like that. All right, so let's take a look at I'm gonna like remove this here and share my screen. All right. You guys should be able to see my screen now. So I was in gold. Can't remember where I was in gold, but I'm gonna talk to you guys about this week instead of last week because I think that gold trade that I had held. I believe I spoke about it on my last video because it was a position I closed this week, but I believe it was a held position that I had last week. Um, all right. So, and this one's all right. So we've all seen S&P 500 crash. We've all seen things like this, right? S&P 500 should you be buying? Liquidity declined 90% at height of tariff. Oh, this was April. Excuse me. Past week. Interesting. S&P 500. Maybe it's the way that I'm saying it. Okay, definitely the way that I was saying it. Don't be scared, be prepared. Technical analysis. Stocks facing earnings test with stock market today. Dow drops 300 points. So traders eye the 20-day moving average on the S&P as a critical level for the market. S&P will likely report earnings growth above gains and losses today. Drop. Is a market correcting correction coming? Question mark. This is from the U.S. Bank. CNBC market sell-off. Trump post lops of 2 trillion from stocks in a single day. So like, don't be scared, be prepared, whatever. All this news, like this is all like fundamental information that you can consider in your trading and stuff like that. Um, or you can just go strictly technical analysis or both. Um, Personal preference, I typically would just go for technical analysis and then I'll see sometimes, not all the time, I'll like do some a little bit of research on, what the news looks like for this like S&P 500 or whatever I'm looking at. Which I did see the sell-off and I started seeing news that happened on Friday last week. I definitely didn't enter though, because just because you see the market tanking doesn't mean that you should jump into it. You In order to have a better risk to reward, you want to do a little bit of chart work. So, what I mean by chart work is we start looking at the history. I'm gonna delete everything here. Um, and then we're gonna look at the history of what's been going on. So, based on what's been happening with the S&P 500, you can see there's been oh man, it's black. I'm gonna just do green or white. All right. So based on what's been happening, you can see these are lows. I would consider this as a high. You would consider this as a low, high, low, high, low. And then the market just starts trailing up, right? Just in a straight uptrend. And then we got a low, we got a high, we've got a low, we've got a high, and then the market breaks structure. This is where the market breaks structure. So if you see that the market breaks structure, right? Because if we start pinpointing what's going on here, this is what it actually looks like. Ah. And then if I do, let's say if I take away the candles, right? I took away the candles. Now we're looking at the market. If I click this right here, the line chart, it should match up with, not exactly match up, but it should reflect in some way what I just drew. See, that's exactly what's happening. So this is how you read price on a technical analysis, or how I read price on a technical analysis level. So what do I do again? I gotta okay. All right. Um Now since we this is the daily time frame. So if we're looking at the daily time frame, usually on the daily time frame, from where you're at right now at looking at the daily, and if price does a correction, which it did starting from here, the market, whoever's in the market, they bought price up and pushed price up, and this could potentially, I seen this as a correction because we already confirmed that we're most likely bearish since we broke structure. There was a market structure shift. So after this market structure shift that happened, once this candle closes below this swing low, now price does the correction, and here we should get an indication to start, possibly looking for some sells to the downside. And many times people are going to take profit at this low right here. Um, and that's what I anticipated doing. And I scale down. I usually scale down from the daily to the 4 hour to see how many time frames are bearish. The more time frames we get as bearish, the more indications confirm that, we're likely going to be able to spot a potential trade entry for a potential good risk to reward. So I just deleted that so that it's not in the way. So since this is our target, from the market pulling back from at this point, we would look to see what's happening. And from the bat, you can see there's a whole imbalance right here. There was a lot of selling pressure here. So I knew that price would start to trickle up. Now, even though this whole move right here is a 4 hour move right here, I'm gonna just use this imbalance box that I just created just to show you that this is the daily move to create the bearish move, but it also is the 4 hour move. This is all internal. I would call it internal, um, like accumulation. I would call it like internal, just internal accumulation. Before manipulation happens, or internal accumulation. This I would consider as manipulation, and then I would think that this is would be distribution, but I'm not exactly sure why price came back, but that's whoever is in the market. um all right, so what I did was I went back to the daily after looking at the 4 hour and discovering that the 4 hour is bearish. Then I went to see if I seen any common areas, any common points of interest, which I didn't find on the daily. So I had to go back to the 4 hour. And once I went back to the 4 hour, I'm going to delete this and then create a new box. I just started looking for common areas of where price sits at. Um, I would consider them just, common areas of interest, because that means that there's a lot of I said Oreos. Areas of interest for maybe institutions, hedge funds, inside traders, or just um, people who actually move the market. That's likely where orders are sitting when you start seeing, price residing at certain areas or at certain prices, especially on high time frames like the daily and 4 hour. So once I did that, I got two areas of interest. I started also considering the days that we're in. So taking into account the days that we're in, I'm like, okay, well, price touches here on Monday. It's very unlikely for it's very unlikely for them to short the market on a Monday. It's very likely for them to create accumulation so that they can, take people out from the downside while also taking them out from the upside. This is just how I think. And it took me a while to start thinking like this. So, um, hopefully I can still explain it in a way that you understand. But once price started coming back and I set my alerts. So you could use the, free version of TradingView. I have the paid subscription, so I don't know how many alerts I can actually have on the paid one, but it's a decent amount. It's a good amount. It's sufficient for me. I don't trade everything under the sea anyways. I only trade maybe two of these per week. Um, so price comes back what Wednesday? So usually Wednesday or Thursday big moves happen in my experience. Between like Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes Friday too, I won't lie. But Monday it's very unlikely, like Sunday, Monday very unlikely for you to see big moves. So I like to take that into account, and I definitely look left as well. Like if you look left, there's a big imbalance. Now, if you match up imbalance with imbalance, that rests above what happened on Monday. Like you can see buy imbalance, sell imbalance. This right here, like look, this is all the way above what Monday's high. Monday's high is this is Monday's high. So the imbalance is resting above um Monday's high, which was an indication for me to start, paying attention when price gets here, which happened around Tuesday. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, that's when I started looking for some confirmations, some more confirmations. Now I'm gonna revert back to this 4 hour and daily time frame long um push to the downside. This long push to the downside, you can see not only on the daily 4 hour, but also on the 1 hour, you can see it was a entire bearish move. So this all happened, I think, in one day on Friday last week. And once, price came back to that point around my area of interest, I started looking to see if the market would start, showing bearish signs somehow. So now we're looking at smaller time frames like 30 minute, 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute. And I start seeing, that we start getting like a candle get engulfed. So the candle I see that gets engulfed is going to be um, this candle here. So once this candle gets engulfed, I'm like, okay, this could be an area for where we could start shorting. Now, if we short at a close of this candle, stop loss could be right here. And now we're targeting now we're targeting a low. So, I don't know. Okay. Now we're targeting a low. So, I'm targeting this low. But, unfortunately price comes back. It's a good thing I started taking profit along the way, right? I wasn't going to be greedy and not take profit along the way. If I did take profit, let's say I did take profit along the way. Instead of me taking profit, because I did take profit, along the way around like 1.8, 1.9, or even like a 1.10. That's really realistically where I started taking partials, um, and started like passing the challenges and stuff. I would have left like so much money on the table if I literally just stayed in. It would have been like a 1 to 2 instead of the taking profit on the 1 to 10 or 1 to 9 positions that I had. I did take profits a lot around this area right here. Um, and many times on Fridays we get reversals for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, that's why it's not always good to be greedy. Like you still want to take partials along the way. I ended up closing all positions. Usually I'd just stay in, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. Um, I mean the EMA is not that important, but it's still useful in some ways. But yeah, realistically, you want to, what the way that I've been trading it lately is looking at imbalances, seeing if there's imbalances in the markets. looking for market structure shifts or breaks of structure. This was a market structure shift on the high time frame. Price pushes up, we get breaks of structures or engulfed candles and on smaller time frames. So daily, 4 hour, 1 hour matches up in sync. Now we're going down to like the 30 minute, 15 minute, hourly, 5 minute time frames to see which one prints either an engulfed candle or um a market structure shift so that we can start shorting or buying the market in whichever direction you anticipate the market moving in. In this case, it was bearish, which is going to be down. And stop loss was above, take profit. Initially, it was supposed to be here, but things happen, right? You can't control the market and you want to take partials along the way. Um, who knows? Market could still, reverse from here back into the downside. So yeah, that's how this week went. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. And all right, I'm gonna show you guys my sorry. Yeah, I mean, definitely don't want to, force trades. Um, because risk management is the bridge between skill and results. And you don't need to catch every move, you just need your setup. Um, obviously, you want to control your emotions when this stuff is happening. That could be the hardest part. Won't lie to you. Um, but the more you work on it, the more it gets better. I'm gonna share with you guys my trade Zella, and I'll share with you guys. I'll end this off with a quote, and then I'll share. Yeah, I'll share a quote with you guys. Um, trade Zella account. Okay. 146. All right. So again, I look at my journal in a way to where I only want to look at percentage. That's all I'm really worried about. Because the minute I start thinking about numbers, like dollar figure amounts, that's when I find my emotions start to be triggered. And when my emotions trigger, I know from experience things a lot of times just don't go in my favor. So, and I start to regret being in the trade and stuff like that, no matter how much sense the trade makes sense to me. So that's why I prefer to look at things in a percentage manner. I'm gonna show you guys though October. So that was September. This is October. Everything is literally starting to go up from these, types of weeks. First week of October, you can see what was this? About 2%, -4%. That's -2%, -2% plus about 8%. It's about 6%, 7, 8, 9. It's about 10%. -2, that's 8%. So we're back at 8%. 8 plus 2 is about 10%. 10% plus 10% plus 25, or 10% plus 15 is 25%. So 25% in October, or on average, or maybe a ballpark, we're up 25% this month. And since we're up 41% in total, that's 41 minus 25, which is about 16% last month. So 16% last month, 25% this month. This is just how the way that I look at numbers, and I think that this is going to be extremely helpful for you going forward on your journey of becoming a profitable trader and stuff like that. That's most important, right? Sticking with your model, your setup, looking for reasons to buy, to sell, using proper risk management, you know. But yeah. If you guys have any questions, comment below. Join my free Discord. Um, I have a education hub section that you guys might be able to learn from. And that is pretty much it. Hope you guys like this video. I think I'll have a little bit more to talk about maybe next time. I make another video, since I make a video like every week. But I don't know. I don't know if it only way that I'm gonna have a lot more to talk about is if I have more funded accounts. But right now, I think two is sufficient right now. But I don't want to get comfortable, so I don't know. I have attention deficit disorder, so I have to like, I don't have to, but it's just like my mind just keeps on going places. I don't take any medications for it and stuff like that. All I do is look at numbers and make the numbers move where I want it to move. And if and I can't, I don't know, I just can't help but look at the numbers and look for the best return on investment. So it was a good week. It was a good month. It's been a good 2 months, and being up 41% is honestly amazing. Um, Again, I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, join my free Discord, and thank you guys for watching.